It's the one-woman play that is stunning audiences across London. Killing Eve's Jodie Comer is the star of Prima Facie, written by Aussie playwright Suzie Miller. I caught up with Suzie in London. This is London's West End, the home of great theatre. And it's where Australian playwright Suzie Miller's play, Prima Facie, has just opened. It stars Jodie Comer in her stage debut. Many of us will know her from the hit show Killing Eve. And it is already making lots of noise here in London. Let's find out why. When Sydney's Suzie Miller ditched her career as a lawyer to write plays, she could only dream she'd end up here, in London's West End.
It's not just that it's the West End, which is amazing and kind of surreal, but it's the Harold Pinter, which is actually a playwright who I admired for years and years, and it's the theatre name for him. It's a really old world theatre which just has the feel of audiences and actors and lots of backstage history, and it's quite exciting just to sort of walk through those halls and know, wow, I'm part of this world now.
Her one-woman play, Prima Facie, had its official opening 2 weeks ago, starring Killing Eve actress Jodie Comer in her stage debut.
The great thing about Jodie is that everyone knows her as a film and television star, and she's extraordinary and kind of groundbreaking. But really, I mean, as a theatre person, I can tell you, she is utterly a theatre animal. She just eats up the stage and people cannot take their eyes off her. She's incredible.
Well, it is just her. This is a one-woman play. And that's not something everyone can do.
First of all, you have to be supremely talented. Second of all, you have to be incredibly courageous, like really gutsy. And I don't think all actors are cut out for that. I think they read it and they go, great, I'd love to do that, but actually, hang on a minute, I'd have to do that every night and every matinee for how many weeks?
I need urgent medical assistance.
An extremely high volume of calls.
Just a couple of days ago, Jodie was at the BAFTA TV Awards accepting the Best Actress gong for her work in Help, where she played a nurse working during the pandemic.
Jodie Comer for Help.
And it was just such a privilege. I'm so scared. It was such a privilege to be a part of. Thank you, BAFTA. Thank you, Jane, my amazing agent. And thank you, Mum, who's with me tonight. Love you very much. Thank you, guys.
What you hear there is Jodie's natural Liverpudlian accent, which she uses on stage every night when she plays Tessa, a young, very successful barrister who has come from humble beginnings.
She defends perpetrators of sexual assault or alleged perpetrators of sexual assault.
She gets a lot of blokes off.
And she gets a lot of them off because that's actually doing her job really well. And then ultimately she becomes someone who's a victim of a sexual assault and she's on the other side of the courtroom.
When I've been fortunate enough to go to courtrooms, I'm like, wow, a lot of this feels like theatre in that when you step into this room, you play a role. And I feel like that's very present, and that's something that we're definitely exploring within the play.
And it was Suzie's experiences as a lawyer that made her want to write the play, specifically her dealings with victims of sexual assault.
Most of them wouldn't go to court, but the ones that did absolutely fell apart in court. And I was like, this is just not working for victims of sexual assault.
You tried to make change when you were a lawyer, and you've given up being a lawyer and now you're a playwright. Is that saying that perhaps the arts is the way that change can be made?
Well, for me, I totally believe it is, because I went, wow, maybe I can do a bigger job by telling stories, like I can really affect change. And I often say to people, I went to law to change the world, and now in theatre I still want to do that. I really want to have a chance to make a difference, also entertain people and have stories, but the best way to learn anything is to have a hungry audience. This is not me saying I don't believe in innocence until proven guilty. I absolutely do. It is, as I say over and over, the bedrock of how you make sure that the community is not just left to its own punishment devices. However, there is something, and I think one of the judges said to me here from the Old Bailey, one of the things they said was actually the courts are not fit for purpose when it comes to examining sexual assault, because it's been defined by a very male focus and a very privileged white male focus.
The play was a sellout in Australia before opening in London and has already made waves. You wrote the play in Sydney, and in New South Wales, fewer than 10% of sexual assault cases result in a conviction. And we know that many, many more never even get to the court stage. When did you write this play, and has much changed since then?
One little thing that the play did was it actually garnered a conversation around it. I mean, interestingly, we had the Law Reform Commission come to see it, we had the Governor of New South Wales come to see it, we had, with all entourage and so forth. We had one night that was all women lawyers, barristers, judges, politicians and so forth come to see it, and a big discussion afterwards about how to effect change.
The play and Jodie's performance garnered rave reviews from the notoriously tough London critics, calling it a tour de force and an astounding debut. She receives long standing ovations every night and is mobbed by audience members at the stage door, some in tears. What sort of reactions have you had from audiences? What sort of reactions do you see from audiences?
It's really interesting. Audiences have a variety of actions. There's a lot of tears, actually, just because Jodie is giving us an incredible portrayal of a character generally going through something. But also it feels that there's a catharsis for some audience members as well that they've confided in me about afterwards.
But the hard work doesn't stop with all the standing ovations here in London. The next stop for Suzie Miller is Broadway.
Well, I'm no different to any other playwright, Angela. I would love a play on Broadway, and I couldn't think of a more beautiful play to take than this.
Now, even if you travelled to London right now to see Prima Facie, you couldn't, because it's sold out. It's literally the hottest ticket in town. But the good news is you will be able to see it here in Australia. London's National Theatre is filming one of the performances, and it will screen in cinemas here like Sydney's Cremorne Orpheum and the Randwick Ritz from the 23rd of July. So only very limited screenings will be around the country, but don't miss it. But what do you think? Isn't she incredible?
Suzie Miller. Yeah, incredible. What an important story to tell at this time as well.
Absolutely.
So through this production, there is a real chance of change, of reforming the whole way that we deal with sexual assault.
Do you know all the judges from the Old Bailey invited her to lunch? That's Old Bailey in London, you know, the courts, to discuss the issues that were raised in the play, and all those people who came to see it when it was playing in Sydney. The arts really has the power to make change. It's extraordinary. So I do encourage you to see it at the cinema if you can, because it's really powerful.
And Suzie had worked in that. That was her job.
Yeah.
She actually was the barrister defending, getting people...
So she knows
acquitting
exactly
people who were... Yeah, wow.
Just incredible.
So powerful.
And Jodie Comer, what a star
as
well, right?
Just extraordinary. Like, she won the BAFTA award the other day, but come the Olivier's, I'll tell you what, she'll be up there again. Just incredible. Which are the awards for theatre in London. Yeah, just
cracking yarn, Ange. Well done.
I'm just so proud of Suzie.
Yeah.
Too. We actually went to uni together.
Did you?
Yeah, we did law reviews. We were the solid mould dancers.
Fantastic.
Not the solid gold.
I love it. Did you go out and hit up the clubs after then? After your interview? No, not this time.
No, we didn't. No, it was just before opening night. So,
good stuff.
It's incredible.
Up next, the fashion accessories that you'll need to get you through winter. We'll check them out right here in the studio after the break.